Hello, welcome to Julie Hall Designs and the next in our You Do You zipper case collection. So this week I'm going to show you how you can add an extra zip into your project, giving you a double zippered pouch. I'm also going to show you how you can make the most of your fabrics by using the decorative stitches in your machine to join those heavy fabrics together. So today I've done the 8x12 size and I've used some beautiful silver vinyl and a great leftover Star Wars print that I've got. I know you're going to love this one and make it for all those in your life. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is get all of our fabrics together. Now, I fell in love with this silver vinyl pleather fabric and really wanted to use it, but it was too narrow. So all I've done is, using one of the decorative stitches in my machine, I've come through and I've put the two sides of that pleather together. So I've got my pleather. I'm going to use this as my lining fabric, and of course we're going to place a pocket on that. Now I'm going to, and you're going to machine sew this fabric onto the zipper, but then you'll also need a zipper for the top of the zipper pouch as well. So let's come over and we'll stitch that down. Okay, so I have I'm just going to measure that, a 12-inch by 13-inch piece of fabric here, and I've folded that in half and I've pressed it, and that is going to be our pocket. I've also got my zipper here, and I want the zipper to open from the left hand side. So make sure that those details are all together, and then I'm just going to come through that your needle position is in the correct place as you do this. And it doesn't have to be decorative or anything. It's just doing your basic zipper attachment. I'm just going to pull that zipper right to the end. Okay, so that's one side of that done. Now we're going to come over and working on our handwork fabric, and I'm just okay, so what we now need to do is work out exactly where we are going to place this pocket. So if we know that our finished product is 12 inches, we can come through and mark that 12 inches across. And what I'm then going to do is flip that over. So that's my 12-inch point. And I'm just going to measure from here how far up. Okay, so we want to be about 6.5 inches. So I'm just going to come and measure. And I don't know about you, but I always worry that I'm getting my measurements incorrect. Okay, so, and the reason I say 6.5 is because we're going to fold this under and stitch it along. So 6.5 is about where we want to be, and I'm going to mark that. And then we are going to come along, lay our zipper over that line, and we're going to stitch quite close to the edge here. Now I'm not going to pin it because it's just going to distort it, but what I am going to do is bring it over and hold it quite steady as we begin our stitching. Okay. And I can just see my marks there. And you can see I'm doing that as quite a narrow. As always, slow and steady wins the race. And then, when we fold that back, I'm going to move my needle now over to the other side. And I can now top stitch that zipper down. Okay, so what we've then got is, if I open that up, is a pouch all lined and ready to create our main project. So let's switch over to embroidery and we can get started. And now we can start putting our project together. So, as always, and of course this is the exact same 7 colours that we always use on our zippered pouches. what we've stitched is the outline showing us exactly where and what size the pouch is going to be. And remember, I'm using my 8 by 12 size here, or 200 by 300 millimeter. And this is where we're placing our zipper. So for this one, I'm just using plain zipper because it is a more masculine style pouch. I really did not want to just make it that little bit too feminine. And I'll lay that down. And I'm just gently holding that in place as we stitch. Naturally, always make sure that the zipper pull is out of the stitching area when you do that stitching. And our zipper's tacked down. So now I can grab my main fabric and I'm going to lay that over that zipper tack down stitch. And I haven't had to fold this over because it is vinyl. If you're using regular fabric, do the standard fold over. Okay, and loving how once you've got everything set up, this is just so quick and easy to do. So now we're going to remove our hoop and flip it over, and we're going to come through and take our piece of lining fabric with the folded over edge as well and lay both of those over that line. Now you only want it to be just over the line because what you don't want is for there to be, for the fabric to be easily caught up in the zipper. And then I'm just going to pop on my magnet pins to hold that in place. Flip it over and you can see that those magnet pins are outside of our stitching area. So I can return our hoop, take the zipper tab of course out of the stitching area and stitch colorway 5. Come back because I want to remove those magnets, and this is the time that you make sure that that stitching went fine. So as you can see here, that's caught that really nicely all the way along. Okay, so now I'm going to come through and I've got my second piece of vinyl, but the first thing I'm going to do is pull both of these zippers into the middle. I just can't quite get that. from under. There we go. It's all in the angle. Okay. So, once those two zipper tabs are on the inside, we can come through and lay our last piece of vinyl over the outline. You want to make sure this line is straight, otherwise it just looks crappy on the back. And I'm just lining that up with my zipper pieces and with my zipper ends. And then stitch colorway 6, which is going to hold all of that down. And what I like about this, I really did want to show off the vinyl because I think that vinyl is just beautiful. But I also wanted to be able to show that you could do pockets of any size. And this is all about what your needs are. If you want a bigger pocket, put it closer up to the top. For me, this one's going to be used to hold the cable that goes on my, the charger cable that goes on my iPad. Now, as you come along here, just make sure that that zipper doesn't jump up at all. Feel where all that is. Now the reason we get away with having this joined fabric is just because it's light. It really does give us a lot more opportunity to play. Okay, so again, I'm just going to come through and turn over to our back, and the last colorway is going to cover the entire project. So lay it on. Make sure everything is covered, and then making sure that you are inside that stitching area. You either need to be inside or outside, but you don't want to be close. Add in your magnet pins. And fabric is now all held securely, so we can turn that over and we will stitch our final set of stitching. almost finished. Okay, so our stitching is complete. Now let's move over to our workbench. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is check to see and make sure everything has stitched nicely. And what I can see is just on the edge here. And look, I quite like it when this happens on mine while I'm showing you guys, because that way, if it happens on yours, you'll know what to do. And all I'm going to do is unpick turn that around so that I can see it just a little bit better. So unpick all that double up, just, quite gently. And if you had already taken it out of the hoop, you could machine sew this just with your regular sewing machine. But because it's still in the hoop, I am going to take the opportunity just to pop it back in and do that last set of stitching. So I'm trying to be quite careful as I come along here not to cut the stitches, the fabric itself. Okay. Now, make sure that all of that is held down properly. And forward through my colours. Okay. And that should about do it. Once you're happy with where you've stitched to, I'm just going to set that off, and that looks a lot nicer. As you can see, that looks a lot nicer. So now I can take the design off the hoop and we'll remove our excess stabilizer. And remember that when you do that around the the zipper. You've got that zipper outline, and so we just need to trim that away. Okay, so first step done. Next thing we're going to do is trim, and we're going to trim all the way around, leaving that little bit excess, but only in the lining where the opening is. And I'll show you what I mean. So trim at approximately a 1/4 inch. A little bit more, a little bit less is not a problem. So when I get down to here, I'm just going to cut that lining and then continue with the 1/4 inch of that thicker fabric. And it just stops a lot of excess bulk from being in our bag. Okay, get rid of my rubbish. Or at least some of it. Okay, so what you've got here is just those lining pieces. And I'm just going to even them up a bit. And first thing we do is fold that out. Now, take some time when you are folding. I'm just going to come over a little bit. Take some time when you are folding these out to do the best job you can poking those corners. I realise we're going to turn it again, but it really does help to give it a better look in the end if we take the time at each stage. Now, we can now remove the stabilizer from the zipper. And we can open our zipper out, and what I'm really interested here is then making this flat so that we can start folding the lining in. And all I'm going to do is finger press quite firmly along the side that is not attached to the vinyl on the bag, or to the bag itself. Then, taking my double-sided no heat basting tape. Now, this doesn't need heat to set or to start, but what it does when you add the heat to it, it goes even more sticky. So whilst we say no heat, and you don't need any heat, when you add it, it's like you are super gluing that sucker down. Okay. Then, and I'm then going to come through and fold our lining in. And we've just got to start the tape release off. There we go. fold that through and stick both sides of that together. Always easier to do when you are not on camera. And then once you've done that, you're going to come through and turn the entire bag right side out. Now, because you've already pushed those corners through once, they come through a hell of a lot easier. And so we take our corners down there and then come through and push through that zipper corner. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. I hope you've enjoyed that video. Check back next week and see what new You Do You zipper pouch we're going to bring you then. Until then, have a stitching day. Bye.